So when they go find Sylvie, Sylvie is now working at a McDonald's, which is very funny. And Loki goes up to her and says, "Hi, we need to talk." And meanwhile, Mobius and Brad are sitting in the McDonald's, and Mobius obviously has never had McDonald's. He orders food and he's like, "This is the best thing I've ever eaten." Hey everyone, welcome back to Candid Cinema. I'm Amanda, otherwise known as AMXNJ Reviews on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. Today I will be reviewing Loki Season 2, Episode 2. This is my favorite episode so far, and you guys know that I have watched episodes 3 and 4, and this is still my number 1 out of the 4. I loved every second of this. I was impressed with Hiddleston. I think that Hiddleston continues to surprise me in this role as Loki, and I love that we went to a different point in time. That's what they do with these episodes. We open in 1977 London, UK at a movie premiere because someone who had worked for the TVA, X5, has now become an actor named Brad. So they go find Brad because Brad apparently was sent to this specific timeline to go find Sylvie, so he knows where Sylvie is. What happens in the beginning of this, I really enjoyed, because we have Loki, we have Mobius dressed beautifully in tuxedos. They both look great. And there's more of the buddy cop banter that I had said that I had loved in season 1 of Loki, and it's so strong here. Obsessed with this part. They both go track him down, they kind of schmooze, and they're like, "Oh my god, we haven't seen you in forever. Oh my god, what is this?" And then Brad's like, "Why are TVA members here at my premiere?" So he tries to dip and he runs out, and they all run after him. B-15 is also with them and is standing outside. He tries to stop him, grabs his tem pad, and my girl Wunmi Mosaku has been giving great performances all the time. Brad is speeding down, trying to outrun Loki. Who's gonna outrun Loki? No one is. He kind of plays a little trick on him. They run for a bit. They're running all over the place. And Brad's like, "I can transfer to another point in the alleyway," which he does. And Loki was like, "Where is he? I don't know where he is." So after Brad transfers to this other side of the alleyway, he thinks he's scot-free, but he runs into a group of like scoundrels basically in the UK, and they're all like going around him. So Brad's ready to fight. But the second he swings with whatever like bat or bard that he had, it's like a hologram. And he's like, What are all these people doing here? And it's green. And you instantly think, "Oh, it's Loki. He's causing something." So Loki multiplies, and all of these people change into other Lokis, but he multiplies into 3. And the shadows of these 2 other Lokis are like projected onto this like stone wall behind Brad, and they're holding him down, which was really cool. So he's basically like, "You left your post. We want to know why. We want to know where Sylvie is. We're bringing you back to the TVA because you left your post." He's like, "You don't have like authorization to do that." Brad's like, "No, I have to stay here. This is my timeline." So Loki takes Brad, Mobius, they all go back, and they put Brad into a cell. We find out from Obi that the time loom's getting worse. There's so much radiation coming off of that thing, and he's trying to fix it. He really is trying to fix it, but that's all we know. There's like a little tidbit there. They put Brad in a holding cell, and they also find out that Miss Minutes and Renslayer are working together now. They come in a bit later. So now Brad is in the holding cell, and he's real smug with himself. He thinks he knows everything, and he's talking to them about these timelines. It still carries out where there's some people in the TVA, one person in particular, Docs. She's running this rogue army because she knows she's not allowed to prune the branches on the sacred timeline because she'd be killing billions of people, like actual people. And they had that argument. So Brad is saying, "Why would you prune anyone on those branches? Because they're living their lives." And he found his life. He found his life as an actor. So it's very conflicting because are we going to protect the TVA? Are we going to protect the universe? Or do I get a shot at living my whole life? There's another version of me on one of these timelines. He starts poking at Mobius, and Mobius gets a bit heated because this is all he's ever known. He doesn't want the "what if my life went this way." He doesn't want that. So he gets a bit angry. And then Brad is looking at Loki like, "But why are you playing the hero all of a sudden? After everything you've done, there's a villain inside you. There is a darkness inside you. This was one of my favorite scenes out of the whole episode, because Hiddleston goes from really soft in trying to understand what Brad is saying. He's looking at Mobius, who is also getting heated at what Brad is saying. So he's trying to keep his composure, but he's moving forward. He's moving towards Brad, and he's like towering over him by the time he says that he's a villain. It's like, stop playing the good guy. I know you're in there. I know you're in there. He's trying to like coax it out of him. So I love this scene. And you see that there's something in Loki that's turning, because he's trying to save everyone. He's trying to be that savior, that hero. He's trying to redeem himself, kind of, but he's still the god of mischief. So we don't forget that. I just really like that after this scene, they both get heated, Mobius and Loki, and they go get key lime pie, which I thought was really cute, because like green gelatin, it's so green. I'm like, it's very Loki. And Loki and Mobius have this little heart to heart. Mobius apologizes to Loki, saying, I got, my emotions got the better of me. I got heated and I shouldn't have. It's just because I don't want to think about what else is out there, because I'm like afraid. Of course, there's fear of the unknown. You don't know what your life could be like if you made certain decisions. That's a good conversation. And then Loki talks about the Avengers battle, because he didn't expect Iron Man to, spoil his plan. And then he just like flung him off the roof. So he even admits, like, that was an emotional call of mine. And like, I shouldn't have done that. But he's acknowledging his faults. And I think that's really important, not only as a villain, but as a person, is acknowledging what you've done in the past in order to grow. And I think that that's why people are just loving Loki. So as Loki and Mobius are talking, the only way to get Brad to crack and to tell them where Sylvie is if you lean into the darkness. Okay? And Mobius is like, I have a plan. Buddy cop. Love them so much. Loki goes in smug this time. He's like, I'm not afraid of Brad. I'm going to do what I do. You have the Loki grin. He's up to something. So he goes and he brings in this machine and he pretends that he doesn't know how to use it, which he does. And he brings Mobius in. They're playing good cop, bad cop. Loki's trying to be a bit more aggressive, and Mobius is the good one here. So Loki locks Mobius outside of the room and he handles Brad himself. So he starts fiddling around with this machine and he's like, Brad, you're going to tell me where Sylvie is. And like the different side of Loki comes out. And I like how effortlessly Hiddleston can put the charm on, to make people think that he's doing something good as Loki. And then he just turns his face within seconds and his expression changes, his body changes. It's just really cool how he can just turn it on and off that way into like hero villain Loki, if you want to get into that. But he's ultimately the god of mischief, so the charm plays into both, which I love. So he starts fiddling around with this machine. It's like, tell me where she is. And Brad's getting really cocky with it. He's like, you don't even know how to work it. You can't do anything, blah, blah, blah. And then once he puts him in a box, it's in a little container. He's like, oh, is this what it's meant to do? Like, Loki's like, is this what I'm supposed to do? Cool. And then he plays around with like the sizing of the box, keeps him locked in there. And then the smaller the box gets, Brad's like, hi, Mobius, can you open the door? Come save me. Obviously doesn't do it because this was the whole plan all along. And the smaller the box gets, Brad is like, I'll tell you where Sylvie is. He knows where she is. Obviously, we saw it in the post-credit scene last week. They do go to that destination. In the meantime, Obi finds out that the doors, which are the window panels to the temporal loom, that specific room that you can see the radiation on the sacred timeline and all of that, is locked, is closed. Guess what? The only person that can open it is the variant of He Who Remains. So they have to go and find him in order to save the TVA, or else they're all going to die. So naturally, if Miss Minutes was there, she could have done an override and it would have worked, but they actually need the aura of the person who constructed the TVA, constructed the temporal loom and all of that, which is Kang. So they have to go find him. And it's such a small piece of information. And I love that Ke Huy Quan is in this. Obi's such a fun character. Okay, and he just like throws random things out there, but they all make sense. Again, all thanks to the setup in episode 1. These little tidbits come in, and it's okay if they're small scenes, if they're like one-liners. It's perfectly fine because it makes sense to us, which is good. It's it's not as confusing as season 1. I'm going to be honest. It's a bit more straightforward. People can follow this. So when they go find Sylvie, Sylvie is now working at a McDonald's, which is very funny. And Loki goes up to her and says, "Hi, we need to talk." And meanwhile, Mobius and Brad are sitting in the McDonald's. And Mobius obviously has never had McDonald's. He orders food and he's like, "This is the best thing I've ever eaten." So like, it's a really fun scene between them. Again, Wilson is just so great at the comedic timing, and the writing was much better in episode 2. I have to admit, the jokes landed. There wasn't that much dead air and I liked it. So while they're eating, Sylvie and Loki are outside. Loki catches her up on everything and he's like, "You literally cannot kill any variant of He Who Remains because we need to save the TVA." She's like, "I don't care about the TVA. There's no reason for me to care about the TVA considering what you guys did." And the fact that they are pruning branches is something else that she is against, because she loves her life here on Earth, working at a McDonald's, because she wants so much more than who she is. She wants to be like a full human. She wants to be acting like a human. She wants to be living like a human, not on the run constantly with people coming after her. So what Brad fails to tell Mobius and Loki and Sylvie is that they're gonna die soon, because he knows the plan from Dox, because he was originally working for her, and Dox is about to prune all the branches. So now they all rush back to the TVA and they have to try and stop her. Once they do get back and they do find where Dox is, they try to take out the soldiers that are working for her, but sadly it is too late, and Dox managed to prune literally all the branches. Those people are dead. B-15 was devastated, and Sylvie was like backing out of the TVA, saying like, "I have to go back to my life. I don't want any part of this. You just killed billions of people." And she thinks that Loki was part of it, but obviously he wasn't. Like, why would he want that? And Sylvie goes back and she works at the McDonald's, and she's just sitting on her car. Her friend comes out and she still has a tie to the TVA, but that's how the episode ends, is the fact that like billions of people died. They tried to stop it, but it's too much. So now these branches are gone. The sacred timeline's still there, but the branches were just, it was okay to have some branches with some variants, but now it's like completely wiped. So that causes an issue also for Kang and his variants. If the branches are all pruned, what's going to happen there? So I gave this episode a 4 out of 5. I loved every second of this. I thought it was extremely well done. And I'm really excited to see what people are going to think of episode 3. I thought this was the strongest out of the 4. I thought that the pacing was great. There's more of a clear direction. It feels more polished. They knew what they wanted to tell in this episode, and I liked that. I think the writing was much stronger here. The dialogue wasn't that, like, I don't want to say cringy, but it was a bit cringe in the first episode. I think there was more of a fluidity with the character dynamics here and just the words coming out of their mouth. I thought it was really well done. 4 out of 5. Please let me know in the comments below if you enjoyed episode 2 of Loki. I really liked it. Do you think it's 4 out of 5? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think is going to happen in episode 3. No spoilers here, obvi, but I am very excited for you guys to watch it. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. You can always follow me over at AMX NJ Reviews on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. And if you guys want to help me grow this wonderful channel, you can find out ways to do that in the bio below. I'll catch you guys next time. Keep watching movies.